So now I'm going to explain about layouts and the page wizard. The page wizard is really the key to getting the layout you want. And a layout means basically the arrangement of the page. So this has 3 cells. We could put 3 of these tables across, and we can put 3 of them down. So that's what we could call 3 by 3. And if you look in the format menu, you see 3 by 3 is checked. If we select one or other of these, then the whole arrangement of the page will adjust. There'll be more or less charts and tables. So depending on the size of your screen, you just find the format that suits you best. And you can also change the glyph, the font for the regular text, not the glyphs. So, for example, we select Times, then we see everything looks a little different. And you can have nice fancy fonts and all that. So, there are other things you can do with the layout. So we go back to the format menu. At the top we have the page wizard. And if your screen is a little bigger, then there's room on the top for some extra buttons, and you'll see a little page wizard button with a little wand on it. So we select the page wizard, and the key with the page wizard is just to read the questions starting at the top and respond to them. So the first thing is choose horizontal and vertical grid units. So this page is already 3 by 3. So we could increase or decrease the horizontal and vertical by adjusting here. So this is a way of getting a precise control. In the format menu you have a few preset choices, but here you can choose anything you like up to 10 by 10. So that's a lot of charts on one screen. And if you have a big plasma display, you can have some fun. Now, there's a thing called a grid, and this here previews the grid. So these red lines here, you see 1, 2, 3 by 1, 2, 3. So this is the 3 by 3 thing. But there's also the possibility of putting charts and tables things exactly where you want them on the screen using subdivisions of the cells. So this is what I call a fine grid. So here we can choose the fine grid, and this is the number of divisions within each cell that makes up that fine grid. So if we increase this, you'll see the preview changing. And then you can choose to have this grid visible on the page. Now, having it turned on is very useful for positioning things. And then when you want to look at the page, of course you just turn it off, and that'll look better. But for actually laying out, sometimes seeing the grid can be very useful. Now, dragging and dropping, moving things around with the mouse, resizing charts, these are very useful when we want to lay out a chart. And when we've finished laying out our page, then we might want to turn it off because we don't want to accidentally move anything. So let's have that on. Then you can even decide how much space you want between the charts. So it's set at 3%. You might decide to increase it or possibly even decrease it. And sometimes when you're transferring charts to Microsoft Word or some publishing program, increasing the gap looks a little better. Then you can choose to have your page transparent. And then once you're finished, you can go into here and you can click lock, and then the page can't be changed. Now once your page is locked, if you try and do something to it, it'll ask you whether you want to unlock it. So it's very easy to get out of this, but it is a kind of protection. And the last thing we have in this wizard is backgrounds and borders. So backgrounds means you can put some image in the background. The background color of the screen can be fixed in the global colors page of the choices and options dialog. Just click anywhere, select global colors, and then click on the background color, and you get a dialog coming up. Just click on that color you see on the screen. But here you can choose an image, so we could click browse for image, and this is something from the NASA, and then we can decide where you want to see it. If you decide you want to switch it off later, you can just uncheck this. And then stretch to fit means the image is stretched to the shape of the window. If you click wallpaper, then if it's a small image, it's repeated again and again across the page. This is much like the wallpaper of Windows that you have on your desktop. And then you can actually have a border. You can make a border, so you can select some color you like, whatever. And then you select the style of the border you want. And then you click OK. And then this thing will be applied to the page. So this page is not particularly suited to borders because we've filled it up with charts and tables. But you can see that the border is there and the background thing is there. So what we might like to do to make this page pretty is just move this into the middle. And having the grid on, of course, makes it easier to center things. So now you see the NASA image in the back. And because the image was not a particularly high resolution one, it's, you can see it's a bit grainy. And here's the border. Now suppose you wanted the image to show through of the chart, then we can right click on the chart and we say make this transparent. And then the chart is now not terribly visible, so we might decide to change the color scheme of the chart. So let's right click on it again and we say color scheme for this, and let's choose to have the whole thing gold. So now you get, quite a pretty chart on a pretty background, and that's just illustrates how you can lay out pages. And once you've got things, you can move them around. If you move it back in the corner, or other things appear, they can be moved around. So it's just a matter of using your mouse. So I just click to my left mouse button and this hand appears, and then as I drag the mouse you see the things snapping to the grid. So according to how fine the grid is, so the thing is snapping to it. And because I had in the end not moved the thing, so it comes up with the choices and options. If you move the thing, it won't ask you that. So this is how you lay out a page.